Hi everyone, hi my little sloths. So I am back. Say hello to my double chin. Say hello to my arm. Say hello to my chin. I'm done. I'm done. Get the fuck out of here. Popeye's chicken sandwich. Popeye's chicken sandwich. Popeye's chicken sandwich.
What's wrong? You ruined my life. I used to be so happy without you. I don't know what I was thinking.
Nicholas Perry, formerly known onto YouTube as Nikocado Avocado. He is a large, and I mean large, YouTube channel, amassing over millions of subscribers, as well as his extra channels that he has created. He is a famous YouTuber who runs a mukbang channel onto the platform, and is much celebrated for his entertaining content. He has around 4 to 5 YouTube channels with millions of views and subscribers, and Nick is also known for his relationship with his former husband and ex-partner, Orlin Home, a freelance violinist from New York. Nikocado Avocado is mainly known for his mukbang videos on his official YouTube channel, and if we go back a couple of years, he went viral on social media after his former collaborators Stephanie Sue and Zach Choi reported his abusive behavior. He is also equally famous on Instagram, as his official Instagram account has several followers onto that. Nick became famous for his large amount of food consumption, as well as vegan food eating challenges. Since 2016, his consumption of entire fast food menus, often accompanied by his pet parrot, has captured the attention of a YouTube audience. He is known as a mukbanger, someone who posts videos of themselves eating or binging large amounts of food online. Back in 2021, he would post a video almost every day, and he would garner attention for his gigantic feuds with fellow YouTubers, as well as big on seeking drama, especially when it skyrocketed with Stephanie Sue. Back in 2019, she released a video saying how she felt being manipulated by Nick, and she was scared of him for sending her a barrage of harassing text messages, which led to fans going after him on her behalf. In her 45-minute video, she talked about how she felt like he violated her trust and friendship, with the attempt to get her to trash Veronica Wayne during their collaboration video, and it made her uncomfortable. So then, Sue decided to take a brief hiatus from social media, and her video garnered millions of views. Fans were quick to call Nick toxic, as well as starting a campaign to cancel him. More details on that later on in the video. Good morning, everybody. Did you miss me? I know that I missed you. Now then, for today, we shall be documenting the story, as well as life, of the one and only Nikocado Avocado. This individual is seen mostly as a meme, a negative drama queen, a popular lolcow, and has gained an extremely unhealthy amount of weight. Unfortunately though, in my opinion, the man has succumbed to living a very unhealthy lifestyle of gorging a massive amount of food on camera for views and revenue. And if I'm being honest, mukbang channels for the majority are viewed in a mixed bag of opinions. What I mean is that some may find it disgusting, delicious, very attractive, or even enjoy the sounds that they make. I mean, I guess if you are into it and it makes you happy, then you do you, boo-boo. But this particular mukbang channel has a long history of problems, as well as a consistent amount of drama between him, his viewers, his peers, and worst of all, his lover. Now, can it be argued that the reason all of these issues came to light was due to the fact that his eating has caused all of these problems? Well, of course it can, because some people just don't realize how much food can make a person. I mean, if all you eat every day is hot fried foods or greasy resources daily in a huge amount, it can heavily affect your mental health, as well as some physicality problems. Note that I said a huge amount. A small portion of such foods is okay though, I mean, as long as you eat in moderation. Now, I'm not a health or food expert, but I try to at least get the right amount of calories that I need per day and not go overboard. Sure, a pizza once in a while isn't bad, or even a burger or two isn't gonna hurt me much, because I can't consume that much food due to my body actually, having a limit. But some people, however, do not. I feel the only time one should purposely eat so much is if you are working out or having like a very long day at work. You know, the healthy proteins and vitamins your body needs to function properly. As difficult as it may be to stick with for some people, I can assure you that it's worth it in the long run if you watch what you eat. Anyways, enough talk. Let us gather our breaths, our sanity, and brace for impact on this roller coaster of emotions, known as the story of Nicholas Perry, aka Nikocado Avocado. Thank you all for stopping by today. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Before we begin, I will help enlighten you a bit and give you some insight. What I mean is a summary on the popular internet trend known as mukbang. So, mukbangs, right? Also known as an eating show, are online audiovisuals in which a host consumes various quantities of food while interacting with the audience. It became popular in South Korea in 2010, and has since become a major spreader of K-beauty, K-pop, and Korean drama, earning its status as a global trend. Varieties of food, ranging from pizza to noodles, are consumed in front of a camera. The purpose of mukbang is also sometimes educational, introducing viewers to regional specialties or gourmet spots. A mukbang is usually pre-recorded or streamed live through a webcast on streaming platforms such as Africa TV, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch. In the live version, the mukbang host chats with the audience while the audience type in real time in the live chat room, creating a multimodal communication. Eating shows are expanding their influence in internet broadcasting platforms and serve as a virtual community and a venue for active communication among internet users. Famous mukbangers in Asia and North America have gained popularity on social media and made mukbang a career with high income. By cooking and consuming food on camera for a large audience, mukbangers generate income from advertising, sponsorships, endorsements, as well as just plain viewer support. However, there has been a growing criticism of mukbang's promotion of unhealthy eating habits, animal cruelty, and food waste. Now hold that thought with mukbangs as I proceed to introduce our protagonist for this tale, Nicholas Perry. In the beginning, he was once a vegan, as well as a vlogger, a musician, and an overall positive person. Nick was born on May 19th, 1992 in the Ukraine, and from what is known, he was an adopted child. Nick was living the vegan life happy and was even glowing from a strict consumption of food. His head was much more clear, much more stable, and he has quite an impressive talent playing the violin. At the time, he also would be involved in vlogging content, which revolved around his vegan food and lifestyle, as well as going in depth with his own life stories. He also has a boyfriend by the name of Orlin Home. His content related to Nick, meaning that he would post similar videos relating to veganism. He used to have several more videos that was posted onto his channel. Most of them, unfortunately, have been deleted, but I believe if you search hard enough, you could find archives of his previous work. Now, during this point in time, they were in a happy relationship, living life in a happier, healthier, and successful way. Orlin also would collaborate with Nick on various videos of him playing the violin. He would also create vlogs that featured him exploring a forest as well as other gorgeous areas. And he lived in Colombia, where he and Nick would occasionally visit and date each other. It is also said that one of his other channels turned into one of Nick's alts, given that content made about primarily him isn't as prominent. So now that I established a context, let's go back in time a bit to 2014. Nick's channel was created, however, it remained inactive for the time being, but he would consistently be featured into several content creators' videos, with the content once again involving veganism. He also would travel and explore countries, as well as having meals with said creators like Mummy Tang, Cheap Lazy Vegan, etc. Most of these videos are collaborations for the creators, helping Nick achieve bits and pieces of popularity. However, we are soon going to be delving into the details of these videos. Mukbang was introduced to Nick as he continued being mentioned in videos, and he would begin consuming large meals on cam, such as creamy avocado pasta, lettuce wraps, kimchi, Napa cabbage, veggie grills, even a jackfruit mukbang. He also has a huge fascination with avocados, stating that it helps with his skin and that it contains several amounts of vitamins and healthy calories, which is in fact true, given that they are a great source of vitamin C, E, K, and B6, as well as those delicious omega-3 fatty acids. Now, did you catch that? Fatty acids. You know, pound putters, but also protein givers. See, I feel that the mukbang transition was one of the red flags in the beginning of this whole ordeal with him becoming what he is today. Now, of course, as a human being, one must consume various calories and healthy vitamins in order to sustain themselves, whether it be mentally or physically. However, it's known that too much calories, or really too much of any food, can lead to
That's what you get! That's what you get! How dare you! How dare you!
Well, yeah, you get where I'm coming from. It's also strange in the fact that Orlin and Nick mentioned that they were not into consuming a lot of fattening food because of their diet, but they decided to try something new, and at the time saw no harm. They figured that they could slack from their strict diets, but to almost a frightening amount. In the year of 2016, posts of Nick would feature him eating large quantities of food, consisting of 2,000 calorie meals like pad thai. Lots of carbs were consumed, but it was mostly vegan food. He then would also start eating more fatty meals, as well as fried foods and collaborations more frequently. Although, despite his activity, he then would eventually bring some of his opinions and actually took a bite out of drama with some posts. He would respond to people with negative comments and would go on some Facebook rants. These unfortunately are now deleted, but I am sure you can understand why. So, that seems to be 2 red flags. But granted, many people love to eat and enjoy some quality chaos for satisfactory. I being one of those people. However, for Nick, it is slowly becoming more of a transition into something that wasn't like him. And as you will soon see, it becomes more eerily apparent. He over time had issues with the vegan community, and was very outspoken against some of his friends. And obviously doing such a thing is eventually going to cause you to stray much further away from it. This ended up being the case, with a video from him stating that he quits being a part of the vegan community. He would elaborate on his reasons why he thinks vegans are imbalanced, hostile, militant, and mentally unstable. Now here's a pretty good indicator that his true mentality begins to show, but the food did not amplify it just yet. People at first glance are quick to blame him because of the food, but I disagree to an extent. Sure, the massive food he eats later on does not help, but I refuse to believe that it's the core reason for what he became now, and I am convinced that it's all about his mental health. Anyways, back to the subject at hand. He was fed up with the vegans within the community and decided to leave it, claiming there has been lots of drama videos going about with other vegan YouTubers as well. But in the end of this video, he actually claimed that he was still a vegan. From that point, he wished to move on and provide content that was appealing, and he eventually would start posting content onto one of his channels named Nikocado Avocado. And now, as you can see, he made his channel into, well, a mukbang channel, which is, as described before, a video on the person enjoying a large meal in front of a camera for views and clicks. Now, I can get the appeal for watching this sort of content. The food at times is generally appetizing to look at. The individual could also be entertaining and providing a story to their viewers while enjoying a hefty meal. It can also be considered an ASMR, given the loudness of the food eating. Yeah, no, those ones can actually be quite disgusting. But I can understand why it's a popular trend, which is one of the reasons why Nick took up this opportunity. Now, one of the things you will obviously notice while watching some of these older videos is that these meals do not really look the most healthy. And just because a food is vegan does not mean that it's going to be healthy, such as all the fattening bread that he has been eating, as well as the large amount of noodles, all of which contains a huge amount of carbs. And you know what that can lead to? That's right, getting fat. But despite this, these videos would generate views very well, and would help garner more support for Nick. However, little did he know at this time, it came with a very big price. Later on, he created a video discussing that he wanted to be a vegan no longer, and within it, he would elaborate on why he's quitting it. To which on some points, I could agree with the, protein and all that, plus I'm not a vegan myself. And he wanted to drop it all together and begin a new lifestyle. You could even notice in this video that his mentality is slowly slipping. Not too much, but it's mildly present. He also states that it's overly strict and that it can be very annoying to consistently eat, to which is another red flag. This event is what begun, or shall I say, unravel a new point in his life. One that he did not seem to think twice about turning back from, and one that will forever be the staple that made him to what he is at this point and time. Let us begin our next chapter. As weeks, months, and so on would pass by, Nick's content would progressively become more concerning. Videos such as why veganism makes people go crazy, I'm getting fat and I don't know why, serious allegations against my boyfriend, and lots more. There's this massive collage of videos years back that have shown behavior unusual from the old Nick that we have previously seen. But if you take a quick glance back onto his older content, you will notice one key difference. Let's play a little game of Where's Waldo and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so did you find it? That is correct. He began to consume meat, and he ultimately has dropped the vegan lifestyle altogether from how it seems. His videos would start becoming even more clickbaity, and his presentations gradually became more dramatic, to simply put it. Name drops and videos would also be included. Discussions involving more toxic behavior towards the vegan community, and his consumption for fattening and meaty foods has also gotten a lot more apparent. Domino's Pizza, Popeye's Chicken, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, Burger King, and many more restaurants of him consuming a gigantic amount of calories. If all of that shit does not put a dent into your health after a while, I'm not sure what will. And the funny part is he even had the audacity to say that he felt skinny now than when he was a vegan. Now, I can't say that this isn't all false, because one can obviously consume animal products and meat while still maintaining a good physique. But when it comes to weight and food in general, it's all about one thing: calorie consumption. I mean, let's be real, it doesn't take rocket science to prove that if you eat too much, you put on pounds. But if you want to indulge yourself in a lot of foods and try all sorts of stuff with it, then by all means have a go. But when you do, at least acknowledge the fact that whatever goes into your body truly affects everything about you, whether it's mentally, physically, or even spiritually. Nick, however, from what is shown, is unfortunately missing this point, judging from all the unhealthy foods that he has been involving himself with. But personally, I think that he is fully aware of this situation, and he is just purposely sacrificing his health for clicks and views. I mean, seriously, something is bound to happen when you consistently do 10,000 calorie challenge videos. It's even making me full looking at it, and I'm not the one consuming all of that shit. Now, as this continued, a lot of his community would become more concerned, and some would start turning against him as well as question his beliefs and what he previously said. Some would state how ignorant he is for speaking on nutrition while stuffing his face with donuts and pizza, some about his change in the vegan lifestyle, and several more comments can be found. It led to more videos of him discussing the drama with his audience, as well as himself and his quote-unquote diet. Some would believe that he has an eating disorder, judging from how much food that he's been eating constantly. Some people would obviously show some concern, care, and would try to get a hold of him, as well as claiming that he has bulimia. But unfortunately, he would take what his fans would try and tell him and throw it back into their faces, slowly opening a can of worms. Such as, since he isn't eating a lot of vegan calories, they decided to now come at him because of him eating meat calories. To which I can understand from his perspective. But seeing how he tried to turn away from the vegan community and lifestyle, he continuously pulls himself back into that abyss with the videos he would make addressing these problems. He also at the same time wanted to make this dramatic change to his lifestyle because he wanted to prove people wrong about this transition. And in all honesty, there is really nothing to truly prove in that context. It just seems more like an ego thing at this point. But at the same time, it's also a shame given that he has gotten along with several vegan creators and supporters. But he would in fact turn away from them to pursue his new life. And given that he is obviously fully aware of what the damages of food can cause to one's body if they don't moderate it, it becomes a lot more obvious that he has an eating disorder. Once again, I am no doctor, but I believe it doesn't take one to see that there is something obviously wrong here. And if this attitude was continued, it is going to lead to a rabbit hole of hell that is going to explode. Moving on, Nick's content had begun to take a different turn. And yes, I mean that turn. Dramatic, crying, as well as his thumbnails becoming more misleading. Now of course, he would make apology videos and him discussing problems in a calm tone. And one of his biggest reasons for moving away from the lifestyle was due to his mental health. And he states that since he stopped that vegan lifestyle, it's made him feel much better. In a way, I can understand that if doing a change helps a person in a mental setting, then that's a great thing. So long as you aren't belittling or hooking everyone in for a show that involves a pity party. Eventually, his mukbangs would increase more in views, but he started to become more aggressive and extreme in his videos, showcasing more dramatic cases, with one video that caught the eye of many, and it even got age restricted due to some of the graphic content involved. Surprisingly enough, it wasn't clickbait, unfortunately. The video involves Nick discussing self-harm within his relationship with Orlin before they were going to get married, with him going into detail about what Orlin did to himself as well as the entire setting. I personally do not think that this should have been uploaded since it comes off as not only attention-seeking, but quite manipulative if you ask me. I can understand sharing your frustrations and pain to a platform where people can care for you, but something to this level should be kept private. Not to mention, help should also be immediately sought. And according to a comment from Orlin, he gave permission to Nick to post the video, which I feel in my opinion was not the right move. The other thing that's difficult to pinpoint is if the video is even real or not, as well as the comment from Orlin. Now, you may think it's fucked up to question this particular action that one can do to themselves, since it is a very serious matter, but at the same time, it's also been proven that these things and acts can be said for attention and can also be a setup or fake. Which is why several people have the right to be skeptical, until it is unfortunately too late. And it is why I still think posting such a thing was just not the right choice. It leads to several different questions and theories that people come up with, and it can become difficult to find the answer. Unless of course they've already figured it out, or uncovered the reasoning. The video also focused primarily onto Nick, with him crying and everything else on top of it, and it still leads to if what has been said is legitimate or simply for attention. I will leave the answer up to you in this case. More videos would then start showing up, one named Serious Allegations Against My Boyfriend, which discusses about him potentially faking his situations for views and clout. But Nick claims that it's actually real and legitimate. And unfortunately, Nick would then make these videos a bit of a niche to his channel next to his mukbang content. He tend to focus too hard onto the negative of everything, and constantly seeked out issues to blame and point out, or find some sort of way to grab a spotlight so that he gets attention from supporters to boost his ratings. Now, I shouldn't talk, cause I'm technically doing the same thing, but I at least try to avoid clickbait, and I keep everything about me private. I mean, look at me. I have reasons not to show my beautiful face just yet. Anyways, his community grew very concerned, with them wanting to help Nick reevaluate his decisions and his erratic behavior he continues to show. His persona grew into something much more different than what he was previously known as, not just in appearance, but also in personality. He began questioning why he's getting fat, why he is gaining weight, why this, why that. Now this video might have been for laughs and giggles since this comes off as such, but he continues to belittle his audience and claims that his weight gain was instantaneous. Obviously this is not true, because take a look back onto his previous content and pay attention to his face, his chin, his shoulders, his appearance. Neither of those have gotten larger until he actually gotten into the mukbang trend and quit veganism. He also claims to work out and that he has a fast metabolism. And see, these things can only help so much with weight loss. You could work out all you want and be blessed for having such a metabolism, but if you do not watch what you consume, these things are not really going to be helping you that much with weight loss. Unless of course you are one of those bodybuilders that wishes to become huge, but not exactly fat, then of course eating a lot can help. That is, if they are healthy products and not a ton of donuts, Whoppers, and slamming the fuck out of Popeyes that literally can dent this progress. Unfortunately, Nick has still stuck to his beliefs, and thinks that him doing this is a lot better for his mental health still, which to some level can be true, but in other ways I would have to disagree. Another strange thing though is in another video he discusses this and asks his community what he should do about his weight problem, but at the same time answering his own question, stating that the mukbangs are going to be the death of him, and that he is ready to get healthier. His next video is also about his weight once again, with the name "Say Hello to My Double Chin." He then would repeat his quote, "I am getting fat and I don't know why," and then eventually went on to say his iconic line several people know today, is that it's just water weight, due to the stress that he goes through. This line eventually went on to become a part of his channel entirely, with it even being onto his merch and several videos that follow up. Now unfortunately after this, he went on to eat more fattening foods such as bacon chips and cheesy pasta, as well as another video prior named "I am going vegan," to which is obviously not true. He claims that he is going strict with his diet and that he eats this type of food off camera. And this is quite difficult to believe since afterwards he decided to do more 10,000 calorie challenge videos with more McDonald's, more hot and steamy pizza, burgers, fries, and several amounts of carbs being shoved into his gullet. And then came along a video posted on April Fools that Nick and Orlin broke up, with Nick sleeping with 12 people and giving Orlin an STD? Orlin claims Nick has been cheating on him and that he's traveled about being with other guys in different states and countries. and when him and Orlin got back together, he gave him a bug. Now, I'm not sure if this is some sick April Fool's joke, but it surely sounds abnormal given how sudden the situation is. STDs in general are just a thing that one should take seriously when being with other people, given that they can ruin lives or hinder relationships, especially something like HIV. Some, thankfully, can be cured, such as gonorrhea, crabs, chlamydia, and all that disgusting stuff. But the chances of you being cured from HIV is impossible, unless you are insanely genetically gifted or a cure is made in the future. So if this is a joke, it's not very funny. But if this truly occurred, then some relationship counseling or perhaps even separation is necessary. But for these two, it went a completely different route. More mukbangs would be created, drama videos would continue to be posted. He also had a swollen eye, and he was scared to go to the hospital to find out the issue. And he even had a false description of him claiming that he got his eyeball surgically removed to an infection that made him go blind. Several of these videos would be made, and he did go to the hospital. And obviously he's fine, apart from him beginning to get overweight. The videos became even more attention-seeking than down to earth. From him having the worst day imaginable with him crying, to him continuing to eat and stuff his face with more donuts. He would also get free food with another creator known as Hungry Fat Chick, since she weighs over 350 pounds. You know, I honestly sometimes question why people just eat so damn much. But the more I research into these people that base their whole life onto food, the more the answers become clear. And I believe, even though I've already said so, is because of mental health. Now don't get me twisted, because I'm not saying that all fat people have mental problems and stuff. I'm just referring to people like Nick, who does this kind of stuff on a regular and has a negative impact onto other people. Moving on, his character continued to develop more and more into something more dramatic and problematic, stating how his marriage is falling apart, why he's heartbroken, my life is crashing down. I mean, it's like becoming a soap opera at this point. He uses these types of videos to be a form of how he gets views and supporters. And even though it does work, to an extent, using bait and switch tactics to grow a YouTube channel is not really ideal. Sure, you will get the popularity and even a huge crowd that loves you regardless of what you do. But you will see a lot of those that loved you previously turn on you for the actions that you've caused and the problems that you've made for yourself and others. Plus, with some of these videos being presented, he claims to be getting deported and that he will never see Orlin again. But as you can obviously see, this wasn't true either, because he does one thing and then he does another. So, the lies begin to add up and pile onto itself. And the videos that got posted during this were made with the intention of baiting and quick fame, not for the genuine, kind, and caring type of fame, of course. And since this behavior continued being prominent, it led to him becoming and morphing into this character. Reason being that he down-talks his community and continuously lies about everything. Whether it's him having rabies, him quitting his YouTube channel, him breaking up with Orlin for the millionth time, him wanting to go back to his normal self but he can't, and he blames his weight on other delusional reasons. And with this type of behavior comes with a lot of negatives. Not to mention, if you are with these types of people, especially in Orlin's shoes since he is with Nick for the majority of the time. There's also another claim that he broke up with Nick on Instagram, but this proved to obviously not be true. Yawn yawn. And it only led to Nick posting several pictures of himself crying and being the emotional disaster that he is. And within another video, we begin to see the character that he is known for today. His mannerisms, the way that he is speaking, and the overall tone of him has changed in a way that it seems laughable, and you just can't really take him seriously. This began a new ugly cycle of drama, anger, sadness, fake problems, relationship issues, and a monstrous act that has become much more. And of course, he continues to create more mukbang content, since 2018 was a big time for that, and it blew up several channels, including his. although his consumption in food has also gotten worse. Worse as in more junk food and a lot less healthy products are present. Orlin, of course, would also be a part of Nick's mukbangs, and he too would experience the similarity of what Nick goes through. That being, the weight gain and the lack of a stable community. Nick's content was just overall a drama channel with massive food consumption, and that's just the best way I could describe it. But do not get me wrong, I love me some good meals with some entertainment from others involved in some insanity. But there also has to be a balance to that. And Nick seems to favor the latter. He also at this time did not butt heads with other content creators. But if this behavior continued, it's just inevitable to occur. Although he did speak on people in previous videos, but he would keep their name private. Well, sometimes. That is given how often he complained about everyone and everything. Did he change this, however? Obviously not, given he still persisted on making videos of him eating noodles and eggs while being shirtless and crying on camera, with names like "Nobody Likes Me, I Am Done" as a title. Instigation is definitely one of Nick's abilities as a content creator, given that it's attracted so much people to his platform. However, I would say that this is a double-edged sword effect. Despite his channel growing an exceptional amount, so is he. He resorts on the dark side of YouTube support, which is negative behavior to conjure your fame. This in turn is just one of the most dangerous ways to grow a channel due to several reasons. The community is going to be massive, but it's also not going to be stable. People are going to constantly question your health and sanity, and people are most definitely going to actively troll the living hell out of you. Sometimes even worse things can occur, and I think you know what I am talking about. Back on track. Nick at this point in time began to go down this route, speaking negatively onto creators such as Trisha Paytas, Stars Divine Munchies, etc. Stars Divine Munchies also would make a response video to Nick about lies being spread about her. And from what is known, this situation happened due to a failure to collaborate onto a YouTube video or some petty shit, to which this eventually started a gigantic chain of Nick hooking several people into a psychotic world of problems. More details onto more creators later. Nick has finally found his true niche for his channel, and it's just clear as day as to what it is. Eating a huge amount of food, getting fatter, starting drama, getting angry, and saying questionable quotes. See, this isn't your average everyday mukbang channel. This is what you may call the hero turned villain type of mukbang channel. In the past, Nick was a lot kinder, more respectful to his audience, and he had a better appearance overall when he was a vegan. But veganism wasn't the real reason why he turned into this abomination of a channel. It was all due to his mentality and the food that supported his problems. Because before he was a lot cuter, skinnier, and a lot healthier. And this was just simply due to the fact that he wasn't eating so goddamn much. He also stuck to healthy meals that ensured he had a healthy body and mind. But if you fast forward to current day Nick, he is bigger, angrier, chaotic, and one of the biggest drama queens onto YouTube. Of course, he isn't the only creator like this, given that several others within the mukbang community do the same, which is apparently eating a bunch of food and talking shit about people. The new trend nowadays that grabs the attention of many. Not all mukbang channels are like this though. Some just want to enjoy some quality meals and time with their audience, which is perfectly fine. It's when you drag others into your crazy world that it becomes a problem. All communities in their own way have the potential to be toxic, and all people have the potential to be toxic. It just depends on how you channel it and what you do with such energy that affects yourself and others. Anyways, back to the subject. Nick proceeded to make another channel of his own, named Nikocado Avocado 2, which of course featured the same mukbangs that he usually does, as well as the discussions that take place. And within the first video, he brings up another mukbang creator named Veronica Wang, who's another YouTuber that has had similar behavior to that of Nick. What happens here is that she false copyright struck another channel named Mukbang, who supposedly made innocent edits, which then led to the channel being terminated. Although from what is said, they received 2 strikes from her channel, and then one last one from another content creator to seal the deal. She then claims that she's being used for views and that they are liars as well as shady, to which I can understand. If another person intends on using someone else's content, then you are obviously at risk for strikes. Depending on who you are dealing with or what footage you show, fair use does exist, but one should be careful about it since all it takes is one mistake and your channel can vanish, especially when it comes to audio and music, which is why you see YouTube execute music channels on a daily basis due to the copyright bots. Rest in peace, Gilva Sunner. But like, if somebody used my content for a positive reason and if they credit me, I honestly do not care what you do with my footage. Because much like these people, I too enjoy the attention. Regardless if you make videos onto others and reuse their footage, be aware of the risks and do not be surprised if your channel becomes deleted or striked due to this. So, with this being in mind, Nick would then bandwagon the Veronica Wang drama by posting a few more videos about her onto his second channel. Some creators would also address her being problematic, and then she made an apology video with a passive-aggressive title named Veronica Wang Apologizes. Not to Nikocado Avocado, however. In the beginning, she does apologize to Mukbang as well as other people for her actions. But for the rest of the video, she trash talks Nick. Seems very off to me, and definitely does not come off as genuine. I mean, if I had that kind of animosity towards someone, I would've just left Nick's name out altogether, and just make the video short. But since the views and subscribers as well as audience retention is needed, Nick must be included to help spice things up. And yes, you can see where this is going. Nick and Veronica went back and forth until it eventually became irrelevant. And from how it seems, it was also forgotten about. Or I guess dropped over time, as with most feuds like this one. Although emails would be sent about, and people from the underground of Nick's community arise to bring up problems that they've had with him. So Nick would go back to square one once again. Now keep this in mind. I do not think that Nick is stupid or dumb in the slightest. If anything, I think that he is pretty smart. Given some of the things that he has said and has done previously before all of this mukbang stuff came into play. Even now, I do not think that he is unintelligent, because it actually takes brains to be able to ride and consistently retain an audience like his for fame onto his channel. Believe it or not, it's a skill that not too many people can have. He is also fully aware of the food that he puts into his body, I think, given that he goes into full detail about fruits and vegetables. Although he does state how cooking food denatures the food as well as even poisoning it, to which I am not sure if I can agree with, since most meat products need to be cooked to kill off parasites and able to be eaten safely. He also claims that since he stopped being a vegan, he is seen as someone without compassion and unethical for eating animal products. He also seemed to have been very good at deflecting claims and several arguments people would make about him, whether it's ones that correct his health choices or the ones that troll him. And funny enough, I'm even starting to see haters that are more concerned for his health than even some of his true supporters. And although, despite Nick having such a long, extensive problem with Veronica, there came another YouTuber that further arrived into prominence. The one and only Trisha Paytas, who was one of the mukbang channels that skyrocketed the genre with her content. She also is seen as controversial given some of the stuff that she has posted and what she has been known for. She too has a history with Nick, dating back to 2017, and so on. This began with a cover from one of her songs onto an album named Warrior. It was made by Nick with him playing his violin, and to be honest, it was done very well. A comment was left by Trisha with her wanting to actually meet Nick. This went quiet for a long while, but they did start speaking to each other into the DMs. More details onto that in a little bit. Now, given that Trisha has done countless stuff that has angered people ultimately, she's such a giant target for a channel like Nick's, which can help further boost his statistics. He figured that he would just create a video titled Exposing Trisha Paytas with receipts. The videos that followed up also received millions of views, and what's discussed into the videos about how she ridiculed and humiliated him in front of thousands of people. This then takes up to their DMs, which shows that she and Nick had a discussion about his performance on his violin, stating that he did wonderful and that they should meet. Nick continued to keep replying to Trisha since they were going to be meeting up. Although, days would pass by and she refused to follow up with what she said she was wanting to do. Nick was obviously offended by this, which is understandable since when people say that they are going to meet up with you and not show for it, it's going to be a problem, one way or the other. He did state that he found others to collaborate with during his trip, however, but when his trip was finished, more problems soon arrived. Trisha denied that she was going to see Nick and collaborate with him onto a You Now post, and she says that she doesn't care for his personality nor his videos, which I find very odd given her compliments towards Nick. With that said, despite her doing such a thing, it's understandable as to why he would make an exposed video. Although I feel more evidence and more proof should be shown since there's a lot more to her than just bad DMs and a rude vlog that got created. It's already known that she is erratic and unreliable with her behavior, but Nick wasn't really aware of this at the time. Therefore, he took it too seriously and to heart. Although hypocritically he made this video and sent a very long DM to her including that he won't make an exposed video, but he chose to do so anyways. And the reason he said that he did was because Trisha took all of the stuff that he said, deleted her own messages, cropped everything down, and then spreaded them all across the internet. Is this the truth, however? Well, it's difficult to say since several videos that showcase this don't really show these exact DMs. Whether it's from other similar channels that have delved into this, you be the judge. Although I certainly am skeptical since direct messages can easily be edited to make another individual look worse than they truly are. Later on, Nick had a lot of tweets and timelines deleted about Trisha. I assume it's due to avoidance of finger pointing, but that's just my assumption. Since Nick created that video about Trisha, his community would start to attack her. All from those few videos that Nick has posted. Some of them accused Trisha of leaving a homophobic comment onto one of Nick's videos. And obviously this was not proven to be real since these people were hopping onto a bandwagon. Strangely enough, Nick would also never bring up his deleted tweets, nor did he bring up the You Now streams involving her. It could be an attempt at him avoiding the fact that he may have started the issues rather than her. Nick then made another video addressing her once again, as well as his problems about himself being removed from the vegan community. He also would state how difficult it was being a vegan for 5 years, with pictures of him that showed how skinny he was. Another channel named Martin Lewis Resurrected would take advantage of the feud between Nick and Trisha as he would create videos speaking about it. Although people like him would make these videos, these were people that had problems with Nick more so than Trisha, since these were not randoms that had been involved with DMing her. Trisha would also respond to these videos and give her take onto Nick's behavior and intentions. Overall, I find it pretty insane that these two had such a back and forth battle over the fact that she just didn't show up for a collaboration. I suppose, in my attempt to wrap this situation into a shiny red bow, Nick and Trisha discussed in DMs that they were going to collab, but Trisha did not arrive. Nick's feelings were hurt about the situation and spoken to her due to her actions, and then Trisha ghosted him. Nick claimed that she started posting his messages to everyone, which in turn made him make a drama video. And this made a chain of problems between these two to the point where other creators and drama channels showcased this problem that they had. Vegan Cheetah and Trisha would have a You Now, where they discussed the situation and her encouraging Vegan Cheetah to make more drama content. And overall, the situation is played out as if Nick and Trisha are writing each other for reactions and views. I could go further into detail on that situation, but there's just so much to cover that it would take another hour of me explaining it. It's an ugly, ugly situation, but that's my attempt of a summarization for it. Alright, I believe that they also had a podcast at one point that was about an hour. It was surprisingly calm, and they even addressed the drama as well, although a nasty fact is that Nick made an accident during this podcast. So obviously they seem to have kissed and made up over time. And it's kind of awkward to watch, but see and search if interested or not. So really, you can see how ridiculous things can get when one mistake occurs with a missing person in a collaboration. Now I can understand being disappointed or angry about a situation, but this is Trisha we are talking about. Plus, if it were me, I would have made more confirmation and follow-ups before assuming a collab is going to take place, since it's very common that people can flake. Although it's clear to me that Nick was striving for one thing primarily, and that being attention. The spotlight, the clout, and involving himself with drama to generate some views. Why else would this all be blown up? Because if it was just two regular people without fame, then surely the interaction would be a lot different. But ever since this occurred, this actually became a new brand onto Nick's channel. Which in before he would talk about himself in a dramatic way, he would instead include other content creators onto his channel. Now granted, he would occasionally have some people onto his channel that ended in a positive way. Some who enjoyed eating all of that slop with Nick, and some who would speak about life as well as their plans. All that is jolly good fun, but feuds would also be mentioned a lot more onto his channel. And if you have a problem with it, then it's your fault. It's just water weight. Ahem. Anyways, jokes aside, this opened a new chapter into Nick's channel, which involved other creators that have had problems with Nick. Just like Veronica Wang, there was yet another Mukbang channel who had problems with Nick, and her name is Stephanie Sue. Stephanie was a part of Nick's content for a short while, whereas she and Nick, as well as another YouTuber named Zach Choi, would enjoy meals together, smiling, laughing, and having a good time. But in some of these videos, strange and awkward edits would also be shown within them, such as when Nick wants to know Stephanie's opinion on the previous drama with Veronica, as well as giving her opinion onto it. The drama most likely alluded to the Veronica Wang situation from my understanding, since he thought that she didn't like him because of it. And as these collabs would be posted, Nick made a deleted tweet that he is going to be making some tea and is soon going to address another content creator, claiming that he has receipts and all that other BS, as well as even addressing his plans to do so on one of Orland's videos. And from what's next to come, Stephanie uploaded a video on December 21st, and surprise, surprise, she did. But the video instead was much different from her previous content. It was a video about her addressing why she is scared of Nikocado Avocado, with the title of the video obviously being that. And the content showcased Stephanie discussing her problems with Nick and why she is intimidated by him. What she states specifically is that Nick would use his platform, as well as his power to manipulate and control Stephanie, making her feel unsafe and not giving her a right to say no. This same video has also received an insane amount of views, counting at over 14 million views during the time this documentary was posted, so you can tell that this was a big deal. What did Nick do to her exactly? Well, if you remember what happened with the whole Veronica Wang drama, Stephanie was questioned by Nick about it, as well as trying to get her involved for a video onto it. And it's also known that Stephanie was promoted by Veronica in the beginning of her YouTuber career. But as time went on, Stephanie began to see a side of Veronica that made her uncomfortable, and felt that they wouldn't get along. She opened up about her problems with Veronica to Nick, and he encouraged Stephanie to talk about it on their next collaboration. Nick would also continuously press Stephanie to detail the drama about her and Veronica, and Stephanie simply would not budge. She states that Nick has threatened and bullied her by using his platform as leverage, as well as the manipulation of her own words against her, making her do things that she doesn't want to do. She went on to say that she would normally handle her issues offline, but these things had become so public that she felt that she needed to express her feelings into a video. Stephanie then detailed how her relationship with Nick blossomed after Veronica Wayne shut down the YouTuber Shook Bane, which had parodies and edits of popular mukbang videos. Nick knew that Veronica and Stephanie were friends, so he reached out to the latter to see if she was involved at all. When Stephanie said that she wasn't part of the shutdown, Nick asked if she wanted to do a video with him to explain her side of the drama. Stephanie declined, citing that it was too soon. And after declining a second video invitation, Stephanie asked to grab dinner with him and Zach Choi. She noted that Nick opened up first about things that he was going through, so she felt comfortable talking to him about Veronica. She also said that he differentiated his online persona from who he is offline. Now, there's another creepy part that I should mention. One that even gives me some chills is when she posted security videos from her home that showed her having a breakdown after filming with Nick. Stephanie and Nick were scheduled to film the next day, but she texted him and Zach to say that she had to cancel. She posted their text exchange, during which Nick got heated about Stephanie's last-minute cancellation. Stephanie then described how Nick posted several things on his Instagram about wanting to do an expose video, and how he wanted to spill the tea about something. He also kept citing one of her texts to him, which had said she had been in and out of sleep. He repeatedly posted videos of him and his friends saying it. She also claims that Nick took photos and videos of her home security system while she was in the bathroom during filming. Stephanie said that it took her a while to get the confidence to post the video, because she knew how many friends that Nick has in the YouTube community. Now this I find very creepy, cause we are normally so used to seeing the chaotic Nick that smiles but is also constantly ranting about everything as well as stuffing his face with food. Stephanie even stated at the time that Nick made her feel safe and feel free to open up to. And then once this comes to news, it truly makes you think if he's different in real life. Well, no shit, you might say. Although, the question is, what is Nick like when he isn't on camera? Is he abusive, controlling, manipulative, a backstabber, as well as disloyal? Well, I will try to provide some more answers soon enough. Stick around and see for yourself. After Stephanie explained her issues with Nick's behavior in her December 21st video, Nick retaliated with his own hour-and-a-half response video. And in the video, he claims that he never really liked Stephanie, since he found her to be self-serving. He also said that she made faces during their video together to make it seem like she was uncomfortable, when she actually had said yes to talking about Veronica. That in itself sounds manipulative and controlling in my opinion right off the bat. But let's continue on. Nick also said that he only took photos of Stephanie's home after she said that he could, and that he wasn't taking pictures of her security system. He accused her of being a braggart, and said that she only really talked about how expensive her home finishes were. Less than 2 days after Nick posted this response video, Stephanie released what she said would be her final thoughts on the matter. In the video, How Nikocado Manipulated All of Us, Stephanie went through Nick's video point by point to explain how he lied. She also explained how Nick took photos of her security feed when she was in the bathroom, and how she wants to release her security footage but can't yet without Nick's consent. She also showed text exchanges that contradicted things that he had said, including how she ghosted him, how he never got her direct permission to mention Veronica in the collaboration video, and how he was actually the one obsessed with talking about her home. Stephanie featured clips from Nick's past videos as well, during which he said that he loved Stephanie, and how he had a great first impression of her. The compelling bombshell video also showed that Stephanie and Zach were both uncomfortable with how Nick handled their mukbang video, and that he had sent other strongly worded messages to her before the demise of their friendship. She revealed that she was done talking about their drama, and thankfully they would move on. That is, of course, after all the response videos were finished, and from what I can tell, it was just as bad as the Trisha drama. If you do wish to get even more details between these two, just simply check the videos out yourself. But I can promise you that they are long and drawn out, as with most drama that involves Nick. So, from what you can obviously see, Nick has progressively made a reputation for being disliked by many creators as well as communities. Stephanie not only put a massive dent into Nick's channel, but it also caused his channel to gain more attention, albeit not the positive kind, to which encouraged him to continue these horrendous antics against individual creators. The sad part was that some of these people were even friends or good peers with Nick. However, since he chose to continually backstab and harm these creators in a way that it affects their YouTube channels, the drama seems to be never ending. Nick has officially become one of, if not, the biggest villain of the mukbang community. But also a tragic one, shall I say. Because remember, he did not start off this way. He was a completely different person several years ago. But not to seem as if I am fat shaming or anything, but take a good look at him. Do you honestly think that by him consuming these humongous amount of calories that it's healthy or beneficial to him in any way? Because I sure as hell don't, even though I'm not a health instructor, but I don't think it takes one to see that there is something obviously wrong. Just compare his older videos with his newer ones. He has not only grown more unhealthy, but he has also gotten more angry, frustrated, problematic, and according to Orland, smelling a lot worse. Is food really to blame for this? Well, I can half agree that it is the food, but like I said, I also believe that it has to do with the fame and his mentality overall. Because fame can truly change a person and their actions, good or evil I believe. Give a person a platform and an ability to attract a huge audience, and at that point, it's your choice to make the right decision. You could either create feuds with bigger content creators that you claim to be friends with, or you could collaborate and try to grow a healthy community together as friends. And if we compare this to Nick, once again, he chooses the latter. The problems that I see is the food, the fame, the manipulation that he causes with various creators for more views, and the constant deflection of criticism from those who truly wish to help. It's impossible to make sense out of nonsense. And unfortunately, the only things that one can do is to either address the problem as a warning or a documentation to others. Or you could avoid it like the plague and let it take something else over. We all could use some help, but it's up to us if we want to receive it for the better or for the worse. Which brings me to discuss another individual, his husband, Orland Home. Now personally, I find Orland to be hilarious with the constant roasts and gripes that he would give Nick. And if you watch the videos with him in it, he does not hold anything back that he says about him. You can kind of view Orland as a quote-unquote our voice to Nick. And just like Nick, he too also used to be healthy, lively, cuter, and definitely happier. Until he unfortunately went through the same thing Nick did in terms of weight gain, which turned him into a different person as well. But it's clear that Orland does not want this, with him actually wanting a good relationship with Nick, and he misses the older one that was nicer, more kinder. He sticks with him like he is glue, and he even gets caught up in Nick's antics like the constant breakup videos him and Nick would have, but these are obviously fake and for clicks. You could dislike me or not agree with me on this, and that is fine, but I have a bit of sympathy for Orland and I believe that he is a victim. The reason I state this is because look at how good Nick is at manipulation, as well as overall control of situations. Like I said, he is definitely not stupid, but at the same time, these actions are unusual. He forces Orland to eat a huge unhealthy amount of food with him in mukbang videos, getting into play fights and sweary matches, and I will admit I binge watch these two because of it. But at the same time, if you watch a lot of these two in videos, it makes you kind of feel for Orland. Now of course, I'm not saying that he's a sweet, innocent angel, because he has also made some questionable videos and even said some crazy stuff onto his channel. I also believe that in some situations, he also encouraged Nick to make drama videos. But this feels like a Nick influence more so than an Orland influence if you catch my drift. Plus, if you see some of his mukbang videos of him eating alone, he is extremely quiet, and he has this depressed look on his face, as if he had lost something dear to him, and the only way that he can cope is with all of that unhealthy food. It's a sad scene overall, but unfortunately these problems do not end here. Oh no, we still have some more things that need to be addressed with Nick. Nick would also make a drama video talking about David Dobrik, claiming that he stole his DNA and his future, as well as bringing up the death of Kobe Bryant, rest his soul. When the video was posted, several people would comment that they wanted to get Nick's channel removed. It even caused a viewer to make a change.org on removing Nikocado Avocado from YouTube with thousands of signatures. Now this change.org, in my opinion, isn't going to be very effective, but it's still funny to look at regardless. Nick would also take to Twitter, and he wanted to find another way to spice his fame up. That is, adult content creation. Which means he made an OnlyFans where subscribers can pay $15 a month to look at explicit photos and videos of Nick and Orlin doing... you get what I mean. Several content creators would react to becoming an OnlyFans supporter to Nick, and the reactions are priceless. I too, unfortunately, have seen the stuff Nick has done on his OnlyFans, but this was from leaked images and videos. Don't ask me how I saw them. And my only comment is that even though I am gay, this is definitely not for me. Moving on April 2020, Nick made a video titled, "Jesus is coming soon. He spoke to me." Nick had viewers wondering whether he's simply trolling his subscribers or if the mukbanger is struggling emotionally. He went on to cry, rip up paper, bemoan the color of his Invisalign, and film close-up shots of his face. In one day, the video received over 60,000 views and thousands of comments from viewers, several of which compared him to the fellow mukbanger Trisha Paytas and speculated about his mental health. And it's as if Nick is mimicking the stuff that Trisha would say as well as do. Now before we go off the rails here, let me just add a bit of a context. The year is 2020 and Nick would constantly stick with his guns in terms of drama, relationship problems, fake breakups, and making up stories about getting rabies. And his weight has grown to a huge amount. He also became a huge meme to several people that have watched him, such as the incident in 2019 where he had a meltdown in his car. Was that real? Maybe, but when he's lied so much, it's extremely difficult to tell the difference between the truth and the lies of what he says. As for another thing, whenever he would go shopping, he would ride in a mart cart. And if I'm correct, he has never done this before. His weight must have gotten so punishing for him that he can't walk around the store like he used to. Orlin would even make several comments onto this, to which I can also agree with. As funny as it may look, this is starting to become a very bad sign that Nick is in for a harsh reality check if he doesn't slow down his calorie intake. I mean, holy shit, look at the stretch marks on his stomach. That's what happens when you go from 150 to 350. You are literally carrying another full-grown adult onto your body at that point. He is obviously pushing for more extreme measures and ways that he can become more shocking. And he's literally sacrificing his health, his relationships, his mental well-being for views, clicks, and money. This happened, unfortunately, since he would take advantage of his unhealthy image by creating several videos with thumbnails of him looking like he's on his deathbed. One example being my new diet as a disabled person, showing him with what looks to be an oxygen tube onto his face. But this video in particular is a follow-up to his previous ones where he claims to have gone to the hospital and that he has broken 3 ribs on his left side. He also said that he would take steroid medication as well as others to help settle the pain. Real or not, this is definitely a prominent issue that has been showing its ugly head more and more as Nick would continue posting. Oh, but wait, there's a couple of things that I forgot to mention. Let's talk about the time when Me Canyon made that video about Nick. Not sure if you've seen it, but it was a fantastically made animation about Nick's living condition, and it was a reference from the Midas Touch legend. However, for Nick, anything that he touched became a pile of mush and death. And it surprisingly wasn't comedic like his previous videos. It was actually more of a wake-up call, if I may say so myself. Nick saw this video and his reaction was puzzling to say the least. On one hand, he seemed as if he legit understands that his life is becoming this way, and that if he doesn't stop everything that he touches, it will either be gone or turned into mush. Nick would then cry and be concerned, but then once he saw this video, he then went on to attack Me Canyon by making a video addressing it. Me Canyon also heard of this, and funny enough, he took it like a champ. If anything, he claims that he is a fan, but he is also concerned for Nick's health. And truth be told, if a man makes such an animation that is accurate to your life out of pure concern, that to me is nothing more than tough love. Nick unfortunately saw this as the complete opposite, proceeding to call him a fat ass and so on. Now, as for our second person, who is Charlie, aka Moist Critical, aka Jesus. He's bared witness to see what Nick has done to himself and has made a video addressing his concerns for him. And if I'm being honest, you definitely have made it big if you managed to be put on blast by Charlie, since he is seen as one of YouTube's defender of communities as well as a brutally honest person, which is also how he gets his supporters. But at the same time, this is Nick that we are talking about. At this point, it was a hero versus villain debate onto YouTube. This video, as well as the next, conjured up millions of views, almost like that one video that Stephanie made about Nick. But these videos being much shorter and straight to the point. The video was about Charlie's take onto Nick's health, talking about how Nick is literally ruining himself for views by eating a lot of food with his mukbang content. He wouldn't speak very much negative onto Nick, and more so is speaking facts, and states that he is fully aware of his actions and he is willing to throw his life away so that he can gain fame as well as clout. He also saw that Nick would make videos about when he was in the hospital eating, and this is nothing more than the sad, brutally honest truth. And guess what Nick did? That's right, he would make a response video onto him, and the video ended up being 41 minutes. And it's of him being angry, stomping around, and enjoying himself a plate of Wendy's with some fries and chili. During this video, it's pretty clear that the advice that Charlie has given to Nick has completely flew over his head. And to quote a comment that I found fitting, I find it fascinating how someone could so clearly miss the message that was very clearly articulated. Charlie did not attack you as a person. He attacked your poor life decisions. Charlie didn't belittle your appearance. He said your eating habits are destroying your life. Charlie's video is a wake-up call and a sign that he cares about you as a person. And this comment is very much correct. The video may have come off as negative, but what it is, and what I would like to call it, is necessary criticism. This drama, though, thankfully was very short-lived, lasting a few days or I guess weeks, but it did explode for quite a while, conjuring more people and attracting more eyeballs to these two. Nick sadly would not take this criticism, and it led several amounts of people to tell him not to do what he does for the sake of his health, but he does not listen. He shows that he will never be willing to change the way that he does his content, as well as the lifestyle that he lives in. Now, moving on to the present day. Nick hasn't had much drama with other content creators aside from Orlin or I guess the gripe of another. Fake breakup videos would still be prominent, and some where he plays hide and go seek with notes and hilarious drawings made about Nick. And he still would stay consistent with his insane mukbang videos. And one of his most recent videos is where he eats at the Heart Attack Grill, consuming a 20,000 calorie burger. I can only eat 5% of that much calories for a lunch personally, but this is ridiculous. He also made a video stating that he might have cancer and blames it on the food while still consuming the same food. Another video about him being cheated on, another video where he orders the entire menu at White Castle, one video where he claims to have a final video with Orlin, and so on and so forth. Honestly, I will give credit where credit is due. Nick, despite all the negativity and drama that has been centered around him, still continues to create and provide content to this day. He is very persistent and surprisingly remains relevant. He got exactly what he wanted: fame, money, problems, and a gigantic fan base that continuously watches and keeps their eyes on him. But what did it cost him? I want to say almost everything. His life, his weight, his relationships, and the problems that he would consistently bring up so that he could profit off of it for an income. And to think that he used to be a lot different in comparison to his previous videos is astonishing, which makes you question if his pre-vegan life was a facade that stuck with him for years before he finally showed his true colors. What a damn shame. In conclusion, Nick was once an innocent, kind, and loving individual with a small community to work with. He was a vegan, but he turned onto his own community and ridiculed it to gain some notoriety, which in turn made his lifestyle turn completely upside down. He decided to eat meat, fried food, Taco Bell, Popeyes, Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, and many more restaurants with fattening foods. Granted, I love me a Big Mac on occasion, but I surely wouldn't eat fucking 5 of them for a video, nor a means to destroy myself for internet clout. His weight, his life, and his whole persona is some of the most disturbing and questionable things that you could see from a content creator. And I will admit, I am, truthfully, a fan. Once again, hate me if you will, but if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't go out of my way to make such a big-ass video. But do I think the actions that he did was good? Most definitely not, but they must be accounted for. But what makes me sad is the fact that he was a lot different in comparison to how he is now. Was it truthfully the food that caused all of this to happen? Was there a relationship problem that happened prior to his phase of being the content creator that he turned into? Was his mentality already set before all of these videos even occurred several years ago? Well, unfortunately, it is far too late to find out the answers. And from how I see it, Nick is only going to become worse physically, mentally, and my biggest concern is that something very bad is going to happen to him because of his health. Now, coming from someone who obviously cares and is concerned for him, I really hope that nothing bad happens to Nick, nor do I wish for him to suffer. But unfortunately, he brought all of this onto himself, and that is just simply something that I cannot control. I could say that Nick needs help. I could say that he needs to stop eating so much food. I could say this and that and that and this. But my words would be useless to this individual. More drama may eventually turn up for Nick, but until then, this was the story, as well as the current documentary of Nicholas Perry, aka Nikocado Avocado. Why hello my dear friends and acquaintances. Thank you all for stopping by today. I wanted to make an apology that I have been gone for a long while, and I wanted to be consistent, but this project was something that I needed to finish and showcase for all of you wonderful people. This was a journey for me and you especially, but I am glad to see that you experienced this roller coaster with me. Regardless, I wanted to show my appreciation and my biggest thanks for your support that you continuously give to me. Even if I sound like a broken record by the end of all of my videos, I still won't shut up about my gratefulness to you. And as always, more content will be on the way for your viewing pleasures. So stick around and don't miss out, because I still have much more that I need to show you. With that out of the way, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, and do not forget to leave a like onto this video if you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching this video. Have yourselves a good morning, a good afternoon, and I hope you all have yourselves a good night.